recognized symbol of excellence in sports entertainment.
Welcome everybody to Clash of the Champions Fall Brawl. I'm your host, Gotmark76, and we have a great show lined up for you today. We begin with the United States Tag Team Championship as those men, the Midnight Express of Beautiful Bobby and Sweet Stan, will take on the Steiner Brothers. This match will be contested in a Texas Tornado match. All four men in the ring at the same time. Therefore, Jim Cornette not allowed at ringside. The referee has to keep his eye on all four contestants and cannot do so with a manager on the outside to ensure that there's no interference. So managers are banned from Texas Tornado Tag Team matches. And here come the U.S. Tag Team Champions, Rick and Scott, the Steiner Brothers. Recent weeks, Rick and Scott have set their sights higher. They have challenged the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, for the NWA World Tag Team titles. And we will see if the NWA Championship Committee grants that title match. But until then, they said they will be the fighting U.S. Tag Team Champions that they are. And your challenge doesn't get any bigger or better than the Midnight Express. So again, this match contested in Texas Tornado rules. All four men allowed in the ring at the same time. The only way to win is by pinfall or submission. And the introductions being made, of course, they are from the dark side, the Midnight Express. And from Detroit, Michigan, the brothers Rick and Scott, the Steiners. And the bell's rung and away we go. And a big shot. Ooh, and Stan Lane charging Scott Steiner, but takes out the referee. And Bob Eaton working over Rick Steiner. And Bobby sees the referee's down, goes to the outside, and is grabbing a steel chair, but the referee is back to his feet. Oh, and Eaton nails Rick Steiner with a chair. The referee did not see it, paying attention to the action in the ring. And this match has started fast and furious. Goes for the cover, one! And a kick out at one by Rick Steiner. And a scoop slam by Bob Eaton, working the back of the dog-faced gremlin. As Stan Lane, with a big forearm, takes Scott Steiner down. Eaton goes for the cover again, and a kick out at one by Rick again. So far in the early going, the Midnight Express have gone for the cover twice, have only gotten one count. As Scott Steiner fights back against Stan Lane. Steiner flexing and drops an elbow across the chest of Sweet Stan. While Rick, with a forearm to the back of Beautiful Bobby, and a scoop slam down goes Scott Steiner by Stan Lane. And Lane dropping a bunch of knees to the lower back of Scott Steiner, while Rick Steiner working on Beautiful Bobby. These two teams have traded the United States Tag Team Championship this past year. It was the Steiner brother. Oh, and Rick has beautiful Bobby in a submission maneuver as Scott drops Stan Lane across the top turnbuckle. Eaton gets out of the maneuver, but a fireman's takeover by Rick. Oh, up and over the top rope goes Rick Steiner. And a beautiful suplex by Bob Eaton takes down Scott. Bob Eaton's climbing the top rope. What's he have in mind? He leaps and nails an elbow to the lower back of Scott Steiner. Rolls over Scott, goes for the cover. Broken up by Rick. And a roller from behind. Bobby has Rick pinned. 1, 2, and Rick kicks out. Rick Steiner kicks out and it clothesline into the corner. And a drop kick by Elaine takes Scott Steiner down as beautiful Bobby climbs the top rope. Could it be the Alabama Jam? Bobby's up and drops a leg across the throat of Rick Steiner. Goes for the cover. The referee counts, but Scott breaks up the pinfall. And a slam down by Scott Steiner. And if there was ever a time to get hit by an Alabama Slam or Alabama Jam, it's when your brother's in the ring to break up the pinfall. Eaton pinning Rick too, and no! Rick Steiner barely gets his shoulder up. Oh, Rick had him. Eaton firing away, no, but Rick fires away right in the and Lane super kicks Bobby Eaton. Steiner DDT's Lane. Rick on top of Bobby. 3. The Steiners retain. Oh, and what a mishap there as Rick Steiner nailed beautiful Bobby with a big right hand right in the line of fire as Stan Lane had Scott Steiner lined up for a super kick. Here are some highlights from the contest. But watch as Rick Steiner, with a big right hand to beautiful Bobby, punches him right into the line of fire of a Stan Lane super kick. And there it is. Lane locked up, loaded, and hits beautiful Bobby inadvertently. Scott Steiner takes out Lane with a DDT, and Rick pins beautiful Bobby. Your winners, and still United States Tag Team Champions Rick and Scott, the Steiner brothers. Don't go away, fans. The World Television title's on the line next, as Dr. Death Steve Williams defends the title against Terry Bam Bam Gordy. We'll be right back after this quick timeout. Welcome back to Clash of the Champions. The following contest will be for the NWA World Television title as Dr. Death Steve Williams defends against Terry Bam Bam Gordy. And these two men, no strangers to each other. They have been on opposing sides for many months now. But in a shocking bit of history here, these two men have teamed against each other overseas in Japan. So a mutual respect between these two. I won't go as far as to say that they're best friends, but this should shape up to be quite a match. And these two men have very similar styles. They can both ground and pound. They can wrestle. They can wrestle technically sound with the best of them, or they can use their power to their advantage. Both men in that 290 to 300 pound range. And there he is, the World Television Champion, Dr. Death Steve Williams. He won the TV title back at July's Great American Bash as a surprise opponent. The original opponent for Terry Funk, the former TV champion, was Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, but Terry Funk took out Eddie Gilbert. And a last-minute replacement was made by the NWA Championship Committee. Entered Dr. Death Steve Williams. And in less than 5 minutes defeated Terry Funk for the World Television title. And coming full circle later on tonight, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert looking to get his revenge on Terry Funk as he teams with former rival Cactus Jack Manson. They will take on the J-Tex Corporation of the Great Muta, Terry Funk and Buzz Sawyer in a 2-on-3 handicap anything goes elimination match. Try saying that 5 times fast. So the introduction's being made. And Steve Williams hoists that World Television title high in the air for the crowd to show their support. And the referee calls for the bell, and away we go. A collar and elbow tie-up to begin the match, a headlock by Dr. Death. Terry Gordy is the first man to ever defeat Big Van Vader here in the NWA. That also happened back in July's Great American Bash, and a beautiful power slam by Dr. Death takes and shocks Terry Gordy, who wisely rolls out to the floor to collect himself. Now, albeit that countout by Terry Gordy over Big Van Vader was by countout, a victory nonetheless that sent Big Van Vader back to Japan to finish the tour. He will be back momentarily. He will be back in the next few weeks. But he left with a bad taste in his mouth, courtesy of Terry Bam Bam Gordy. And I think that victory helped catapult him to World TV title contendership. Now, the first ever title defense of the new World Heavyweight Champion Lex Luger was against Terry Gordy. We saw that match here on the Gotmark76 YouTube channel. And Terry Gordy came close, not once but twice in that match, to become champion, as he has Dr. Death pinned. Goes for the cover and a kick out at 1. You have to watch out for that Terry Gordy powerbomb. He is one of the best in the business at delivering that maneuver. As both men find themselves here on the floor, Terry Gordy going to work on the World TV Champion, throwing him hard into the steel steps. And now an atomic drop for good measure, and down goes Williams. And a headbutt by Gordy. Oh, sends Dr. Death over the guardrail into the crowd. The count's up to 6, and Gordy cannot win the title by a countout. And Dr. Death slides back into the ring. So Dr. Death, being a fighting champion, wants to retain the title fair and square by pinning Terry Gordy, or making him submit, I should say. As now they're exchanging blows, these two men. Exchanging blows, a big chop by Gordy has Dr. Death reeling. And a headbutt from behind and a hip toss as the PS4 skips. I had to find out how and why the PS4 recording from the game skips, as it annoys every single match I do. But a big boot and an elbow drop. And Terry Gordy in control. Goes for the cover. Will we have a new TV champion? The referee out of position 1. And a kick out at 1. I don't think he would have gotten Williams either way, but the referee was very out of position. But Gordy staying on top has Williams. And rams him hard into the top turnbuckle. And the crowd counts 10 times along with Dr. Death, who felt all 10. And again, a kick out at 1. And a big boot takes Dr. Death down. Gordy in control, climbing the second turnbuckle, and nails an elbow from the second turnbuckle. Will that be it? He does not go for a pinfall, stomping on the face instead. And Dr. Death is in a world of trouble as Gordy picks up Williams. But a fireman's takeover takes over Gordy. Williams trying to fight back with a left hand. And now, with a front face lock, setting up Gordy for a brain buster, almost a suplex into a brain buster. And Gordy is forced to roll out to try and collect himself. Williams follows, and a big forearm by Gordy, another forearm by Gordy. And Gordy throwing Dr. Death again up and over the guardrail. Williams is into the crowd. And Gordy has to be careful not to win or lose by count out in a big crossbody. That is 285 pounds in a crossbody and an elbow drop on the floor, mind you. There's no give for Dr. Death there. He's taking the full brunt of 285 plus pounds of Terry Bam Bam Gordy. And the referee again is counting. Williams trying to get back to his feet. Gordy may have to break the count. 8. And Williams slides back in again. Williams being a fighting champion, he could have taken the count-out loss and still retained the title. And a beautiful belly-to-back suplex. Gordy in control. Goes for the cover. Will we have a new champion? 1, 2, and a kick out of 2. Oh, it was so close. So close for Gordy. But Williams now fighting back, setting him up. Is it another brainbuster? It is! Down goes Gordy. And Williams staying on top. He knows that maneuver did not put Gordy away the first time, but Gordy nails him with a big boot. Oh, that came out of nowhere. Gordy going for that power bomb, blocked by Dr. Death. And now a single leg crab. Will Gordy tap out? He's in the middle of the ring. Gordy trying to fight out, and he reverses it when he kicks off Dr. Death, getting out of that maneuver. Charging and nails Dr. Death with a clothesline in the corner. Gordy in control, climbing that second turnbuckle again. He misses the elbow this time. And a big double axe handle to the back by Dr. Death Steve Williams, picking up Gordy. And a big right hand. And now Williams with a belly-to-back suplex, and up and over goes Gordy. These two men, thus far, matching move for move, back and forth. Williams goes for the cover, will he retain 1, and a kick out of 1 by Gordy. And Dr. Death can't believe it. A face palm, cannot believe it, goes for the cover again. He's gonna make Gordy kick out again, 1, and again a kick out at 1. And a kick to the midsection blocked, and a big clothesline by Steve Williams takes Gordy down. Williams back in control, going for the Gorilla Press slam, blocked by Gordy. And again, Gordy going for that power bomb. He usually starts it off with a kick to the midsection, and that's the third time that Williams blocked it. And a big clothesline by Gordy takes Williams down. These two men are giving it everything they can. Oh, and a clothesline from behind. Gordy went for a clothesline, Williams ducked, and Gordy nailed him with a clothesline from behind. And now Gordy setting him up. Kick to the midsection, here it comes. Up and down with a power bomb. Will we have a new TV champion? Goes for the cover. 1, 2, and 3, no. Dr. Death kicks out at the very last second. Gordy wisely staying on top. A reversal by Williams sends Gordy into the turnbuckle, but misses a splash. Gordy going for a pinfall, has him all, but Dr. Death makes it to the ropes, and the PS4 skips again. A big chop by Gordy, another chop by Gordy, a third chop by Gordy. Williams trying to fight back. And Gordy is just unleashing on Dr. Death. Up and over the top rope again goes Dr. Death Steve Williams. The crowd has risen there on their feet. And this has been a back and forth war as Gordy nails another boot, taking Williams down. But Williams fights back, throws Gordy into the guardrail, slides back into the ring. But Gordy with a forearm, a big left hand, throwing Dr. Death into the turnbuckle. Gordy is going to charge and nails a clothesline in the corner. Will we have a new champion? He's not going for the pinfall. But Gordy climbing up to the top rope. What the hell does he have in mind here? Gordy leaps and nails a knee across the chest. Will we have a new TV champion? Goes for the cover. 1, 2, and a kick out of 2. Do not ask me how Dr. Death kicked out. That was a 285 pound, and they're changing blows again. They're exchanging blows. Williams picks up Gordy and a power slam down to the mat. Gordy, 2 and 3. And Dr. Death Steve Williams retains the television title here at Clash of the Champions Fall Brawl. We have got to see a replay of that big knee off the top rope and how Dr. Death Steve Williams kicked out, because I thought that was it right there. But here are some highlights from earlier in the contest. And what a match between these two men. And there they are. They're shaking hands in the ring at this time. And Gordy heading back to the dressing room. And the fans showing their appreciation with a round of applause. There it is. That knee off the top. And I don't know how Williams kicked out at 2, but he did. But then Dr. Death nailed a power slam. I think that caught Gordy off guard and got the pinfall. But your winner, and still NWA World Television Champion, Dr. Death Steve Williams. Fans, don't go away. A 2-on-3 handicap match is next as Cactus Jack and Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert take on the J-Tex Corporation. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this quick timeout. Champions Fall Brawl. We're in the middle of the match here, and as you can see, it is not a 2-on-3 handicap match. The NWA Board of Directors said that this match was too dangerous to be a handicap match, so Eddie Gilbert reached out to his friend Wildfire Tommy Rich, and it is now a 3-on-3 anything goes elimination match. And this might give Eddie Gilbert a little bit more trust, because he was teaming with a former rival, Cactus Jack Manson, and even though they shared a common enemy of the J-Tex Corporation, I don't think Gilbert or Cactus trusted each other, so at least we know that Gilbert and Rich are current tag team partners, so there has to be trust there. And Wildfire, Tommy Rich, and Terry Funk going at it, while Great Muda and Cactus Jack in the upper right-hand corner. And Mad Dog just threw Hot Stuff back into the ring. So the NWA Board of Directors steps in and says that this match is too dangerous to be a 3-on-2. And they didn't want to risk anybody getting seriously injured. So they forced a third member. And of course, Tommy Rich and Wildfire, Tommy Rich, and Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, tag team partners. So here we are. And Muda fighting away with Cactus Jack in the ring. Throws Muda hard across the turnbuckle. And a Snapmare takeover. Muda's in control. Meanwhile, Tommy Rich and Buzz Sawyer going at it on the floor. There's a feud from the past. And Gilbert and Funk going at it. There's another feud in the making. Of course, it was Terry Funk, the former TV champion, and a moonsault in the ring. Muda hit a moonsault on Cactus. Goes for the cover. 1, 2, and a breakup by Gilbert. Oh, Gilbert got in there just in time. The referee's hand was going down for 3. Muda has Gilbert in a pile driver. Spikes him to the mat. Terry Funk was set to defend the NWA TV title against Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert at the Great American Bash, and Terry Funk took out Eddie Gilbert. He was unable to compete. Maybe Funk would have rather kept Gilbert in there. He would have had a better chance because the champion that we just saw as Mad Dog leaps and splashes Tommy Rich off the ropes. Goes for the cover. 1, 2, and 3. And I'm sure if you all rewind, you'll see the PS4 skip. But Tommy Rich has been eliminated, and this match is now the 2-on-3 handicap match it was billed to be. And a belly-to-back suplex by Funk on Gilbert. Muda working over Cactus. And JTEX Corporation has things well in hand. Up and over the top rope goes Cactus. And a running knee into the corner. Funk takes down Gilbert. It's going to be 3-on-1. 1, 2, and now a kick out by Gilbert. Oh, and Muda just jumped off the top rope and nailed Cactus Jack, who was prone on the outside floor. Muda has Cactus, setting him up for a suplex. Up and down. And Gilbert taking on both Mad Dog and Terry Funk at the same time in the ring. But the numbers are too much. And a headbutt by Buzz Sawyer takes Gilbert down. And Cactus working over Muda on the outside while Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer chokes out Gilbert in the corner. Funk and Sawyer having their way with Eddie Gilbert in the ring. These two men, being Gilbert and Cactus, are not friends. They are enemies. They are former bitter rivals. But they share a common enemy now in JTEX. As Gilbert might be pinned, but now he kicks out at 2. And Cactus going to work on Muda on the outside. Throws Muda back into the ring, and a belly-to-belly by Sawyer on Gilbert. Gilbert's in trouble. An elbow by Cactus stuns Muda. Gilbert has Sawyer up for a pile driver, but Funk breaks that up real quick. But wait, Gilbert has Funk up and spikes him with a pile driver. Down goes Funk. Gilbert gonna go for the pinfall. Will Gilbert get a measure of revenge on Terry Funk? 1, 2, and 3. And Terry Funk has been eliminated. And Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert with a measure of revenge against Terry Funk for the attack back in July. But the referee goes down. I didn't see how that happened. But an inverted atomic drop by Gilbert on Sawyer, and now Sawyer and Muda double teaming Eddie Gilbert in the ring. And Muda now climbing up to the top. He has Gilbert lined up. Could it be a moonsault? Sawyer stopped that one. There it is. Muda leaps and nails a moonsault on Gilbert. Goes for the cover. Oh, and Cactus is cut off by Sawyer. 2 and 3. And Eddie Gilbert has been eliminated. It's now a 2-on-1 match. Great Muda and Buzz Sawyer versus Cactus Jack. And Cactus, the power slam. Down goes Cactus. He wants to form JTEX and New Max. But he's about to be pinned. 2 and 3. And JTEX Corporation has put away Cactus Jack and Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. Here are some highlights from earlier in the contest, which ended up being a 3-on-3 elimination match anyway. And there's that big splash by Sawyer that eliminated Tommy Rich. And there's a pile driver by Funk on Cactus, but it was actually Eddie Gilbert who nailed Funk with a pile driver, thus getting a measure of revenge on Terry Funk. But there are your winners. JTEX Corporation. Fans, we will be right back with the American Dream Dusty Rhodes taking on Nature Boy Ric Flair. Don't go away. And welcome back to Clash of the Champions Fall Brawl. The following contest will take place between two men who are no strangers to each other. That's right, Nature Boy Ric Flair, making his way to the ring, will take on arch rival, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, here at Clash of the Champions. And that man right there is ruffling feathers all over the NWA. Even members of the Four Horsemen have taken issue with the behavior of Nature Boy Ric Flair. He has not been the same man since losing the world title to Lex Luger back at the Great American Bash in July. And the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, fighting his way back to title contention, with the Nature Boy Ric Flair standing in his way. So while these two men are no strangers to each other, they have traded victories throughout the years and have even defeated each other for the world title. Tonight, the title's not on the line. Just a matter of respect, a paycheck, and title contention as the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, makes his way to the ring. And the fans here rise. That is one charismatic man right there, the American Dream. And the fans love that man. Nature Boy Ric Flair looking to get back on the winning track. He has had a rough time of it as of late. He recently lost to Flyin Brian, who we will see in action later on tonight, challenging Paul Orndorff for the U.S. title. But Flair starting out strong in this contest, but I spoke too soon. Dusty blocks a kick and takes Flair over as the fans here rise. Flair whipped into the ropes and a stalemate. Dusty working the arm of the Nature Boy. But Flair trying to punch his way out, and does. But Dusty has Flair up for a fireman's carry and an airplane spin. Flair being spun around and dropped down to the mat. And Dusty taunting the Nature Boy as Flair gets back to his knee. A big chop by Dusty. Another chop misses. And a chop by Flair stuns Dusty, but an elbow by Dusty as he responds. Flair against the ropes. Dusty in control. And takes Flair down with the big right hand. Goes for the cover. Will this be it? One, and a kick out at one by the Nature Boy. And Dusty staying on top, but a fireman's carry by Flair takes Dusty up and over. So a back and forth contest. Flair going for a gut-wrench suplex, backdrop by Dusty. Again, these two men know each other very well. They can block and reverse each other's maneuvers as Dusty Rhodes applying a nerve hold on the Nature Boy, working the neck of Flair, who sweeps the leg and takes Dusty down. And a kick to the chest, but Dusty firing back with a series of punches and chops. Another chop reels Flair. Flair in the corner. Throws Dusty into the turnbuckle. Kick to the midsection, blocked by Dusty. A reversal by Flair again. These men know each other so well, and they clothesline from behind. And Flair back in control. Nature Boy going for the cover. Referee counts one and a kick out. I don't even think it came down for a one count. But Flair staying on top of Rhodes with a knee to the back. An elbow drop to the chest. And Dusty Rhodes finds himself in trouble. Flair picks up Rhodes. A reversal by Rhodes. Into the turnbuckle goes Flair. Dusty setting up Flair. Could it be? It's an arm drag off the top rope, and Flair flies halfway across the ring. Dusty Rhodes listening to the fans And they are more than happy to oblige with cheers as Rhodes, with a submission maneuver on Nature Boy Ric Flair. Will Flair submit? Flair trying to make it to the ropes, trying to position his body, and does. And Flair working the leg as the PS4 skips. Now working the arm, and this is more like Nature Boy Ric Flair, working a body part and staying on it the entire match. Flair this time up and over Rhodes with a gut-wrench suplex. Flair pulling Rhodes to the center of the ring, goes for the cover. Referee's out of position, counts 1, 2, and the kick out at 2 by Rhodes. Flair now working on Dusty. Drapes him across the top rope, and slingshot back goes the American Dream. Flair, reversal into the corner goes Flair. Dusty Rhodes. Oh, and a kick to the midsection. I think that may have been a low blow, but out of the referee's sight, and Flair nails Dusty with a clothesline. That low blow was, while it was in front of the referee did not have a good position, and Flair took him down. And now again, going to back on work on the leg of Dusty Rhodes. Flair goes for the cover. 2, and Dusty makes it to the ropes, and Flair can't believe it. Flair wants that world title back. He has had several opportunities all over the country since losing, and a bionic elbow by Rhodes. Nails Flair. Rhodes on top. 1, 2, and 3. No! Flair kicks out. Flair kicked out. Can Flair use this as momentum? He kicked out of the bionic elbow. And Flair's been busted open. Dusty with a series of chops to the neck, and elbow to the top of the head, another chop, another elbow. Rhodes in control. Flair's reeling. He kicked out of the bionic elbow into the turnbuckle. Dusty charges, misses out of the way. Flair picks up Rhodes for a scoop slam and drapes him over the top rope. That has to be it. Flair not going for the cover. Lining up Dusty. And a knee drop across the forehead. We know what's coming up next. Flair setting up for the figure 4. Dusty's in trouble. Flair lining up Dusty, going for it, but Dusty blocks it. A forearm to the back. A jab, another jab, a third jab, a fourth jab, a fifth. He shuffles, and a double punch to the corner goes Flair. Out of the turnbuckle, Dusty climbing the second turnbuckle and nails a forearm to the head. Goes for the cover. This has to be it. 1, 2, and no! Flair kicks out again. And Rhodes doesn't know what he has to do to put Flair away. But Flair fighting back. And there it is again. Another bionic elbow. Dusty celebrating instead of going for the cover. Picks up Flair. He should have gone for the cover there. He had him. But a third elbow takes Flair down. Flair pinned 1, 2, and 3. And Dusty Rhodes has won this contest at Clash of the Champions Fall Brawl. I gotta say, this has probably been the most we've seen out of Flair since losing the title. He was very much in this contest and kicked out of the bionic elbow, which was a shock. So then when Dusty hit the bionic elbow again towards the end of the contest, he hit it a third time to ensure the Flair wouldn't kick out, and he did indeed get the pinfall. But this was more closely to what we're used to from the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Fans, will be right back with more Clash of the Champions Fall Brawl after this quick timeout. And welcome back to Clash of the Champions Fall Brawl. The following contest will be Take 3 of the NWA World Television Tag Team Title Tournament. The NWA was looking to crown the first ever television tag team champions, and they started a tournament 2 months ago. Well, for the last few weeks, the finals have been trying to take place between Doom and the Fabulous Freebirds, but on both occasions the match never officially started. These men attacked each other prior to the bell ringing, and the match was never official. So now, the NWA decided that the only way to ensure victory would be to have these 4 men battle it out inside of a steel cage. So there they are, Butch Reed on the left, Ron Simmons on the right, Doom, and they enter the cage, and I'm not sure who this steel cage match favors, because Doom are 2 big, strong, tough men, but the Fabulous Freebirds, well, they grew up on the streets of Bad Street. And they are technicians and brawlers themselves. They use some underhand tactics to get themselves through the tournament. Just ask Robert Gibson, as he was bashed with a steel chair. So the Freebirds, they don't come to this contest afraid of Doom. So we should have quite a match to determine the first ever television tag team champions. And the fans showing their support or their lack of for both of these teams, as it is no secret that both teams bend the rules or actually flat out break them whenever they can. And the crowd here tonight in Charleston, South Carolina will witness history as they are fighting for that, the NWA World Television Tag Team Championship. The only way to win this match is to have both members of the team escape the cage. And the bell rings, and Hayes goes right after Simmons, while Reed goes after Garvin. I will do my best to call the action, all 4 men in the ring at the same time. Hayes picking up Simmons, has him on his shoulders, and flapjack down to the mat. Garvin, met with an elbow by Reed. Hayes stopping away on Simmons, Reed punching away on Garvin. Again, both men must exit the cage to win the titles. Reed staying on top with a big right hand and a big forearm to the back. Another forearm to the back of Garvin and the double axe handle. As Simmons with a big, a forearm to the chest takes Hayes down. And there goes Reed trying to climb the cage. And Hayes sees it and grabs Reed and rams his left knee into the cage. Owen pulls down Reed as Simmons takes down Garvin. Hayes drops a knee across the throat, and Reed's in trouble. But he sweeps the leg of Hayes as Simmons continues to work over Garvin. Owen Simmons throws Garvin head first into the cage. Simmons again throws Garvin face first into the steel cage. That is unforgiving steel, folks. And Simmons, I thought he was going to climb out, but instead is taunting the fans. Reed, with a big right hand, takes down Hayes. And a backbreaker by Simmons, who, look at that strength. Holding up Garvin, another backbreaker, and down goes Garvin. Simmons going after Hayes is a 2-on-1 attack. But Hayes pushes Simmons into Reed, excuse me. And Reed now with a suplex up on Garvin. And down. Hayes working over Simmons. And Reed working over Garvin. And Simmons throws Hayes into the cage. And I think Hayes may have hit where the door met the rest of the cage. And here goes Hayes again, but blocked. An elbow. And Reed climbing the cage again. Reed jumps down and has more to fight as Simmons again throws Garvin into the cage. So Doom using the cage as a weapon. Reed setting up Hayes, but Hayes fires back. The Freebirds are holding their own, but let's face it, Doom has been dominant thus far in this contest. And again, face first goes Garvin. Simmons is having his wish with Garvin. And a DDT by Hayes takes down Reed. As Simmons throws Garvin into the cage. And Hayes had a chance to escape. He nailed Reed with a DDT, but did not do it. He knows that his partner's in trouble. But this time, Hayes climbing out. Can Hayes escape? Simmons sees it and rams Hayes into the cage. Owen pulls him down face first. And Simmons now going back to work on Garvin as Reed gets back to his feet. And again, Simmons throws Garvin into the cage. Reed is climbing out. Reed's gonna go to climb out. As Garvin again meets the cage, Simmons is having a field day, tossing these guys like a bag of potatoes into the steel cage. And again Simmons, as Reed and Hayes going at it. Reed blocks the clothesline and nails Hayes with a slam. Simmons, going for it again, but Garvin reverses, Hayes is down. Reed climbing out of the cage, but is met by Garvin. Simmons and Hayes now going at it. And Hayes thrown into the cage. As Garvin setting, I think Simmons saw that Reed was in trouble and picked up Reed. Saved him from a potential DDT. And a belly-to-belly suplex takes down Garvin. Simmons looking out for his tag team partner there. Picked him up as Garvin was lining him up for a maneuver, most likely a DDT, and a big clothesline by Simmons takes Hayes down. Garvin and Reed are down on the mat, neither one's moving. Simmons, the only one on his feet, picks up Garvin and throws Garvin again into the cage, this time back first, as Hayes sets up Reed. What's he have in store? A kick to the midsection, and a DDT plants Reed. But a chop block by Ron Simmons, the All-American from Florida State, with a chop block on Hayes, takes Hayes down, and throws Hayes into the cage. Simmons is throwing both members of the Freebirds at will into the steel cage, allowing his partner Butch Reed to get back up to his feet. And I said in the beginning of this contest that this steel cage may not favor either team. I was sadly mistaken. It is clearly favoring the team of Doom as Reed backdrops Michael Hayes. Will Doom become the first ever television tag team champions? A big shoulder block by Butch Reed takes down Hayes, and Reed is climbing out of the cage. Simmons sets up Garvin, throws him hard into the cage again. And Doom is climbing out of the cage. Reed's halfway over. Simmons climbing out. Hayes stirring back to his feet. It's going to be a race. Hayes is climbing out. Simmons is now over. Reed's over the cage. Simmons is climbing out. And I think Doom is on their way to making history here. Garvin climbing the cage. It's a race. Hayes is halfway over. Simmons is over. When Simmons drops, Doom will win. And he does. Your winners and first ever NWA World Television Tag Team Champions, the Team of Doom. And here are some replays from earlier in the contest. This match was back and forth, but Ron Simmons specifically had his way, throwing both members of the Freebirds into the cage on several occasions, so many so that I probably lost count. But your winners and new NWA World Television Tag Team Champions, the Team of Doom. And the tag team scene here in the National Wrestling Alliance is as deep as it's ever been. I am sure those men will be defending those titles every week on TV. Fans, the U.S. title's on the line. Brian Pillman with Sting in his corner challenges Mr. Wonderful. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this quick timeout. And there he is, the challenger, Flyin Brian Pillman. He is being led to the ring by Sting. And this match was originally scheduled to be a rematch from the Great American Bash between Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff and Sting. Of course, Sting is serving that 30-day suspension for hitting referee Tommy Young, who, during the Great American Bash, when Sting had thought he had the U.S. title won, came down the ringside informing referee Nick Patrick of what had happened and that Paul Orndorff got intentionally disqualified. And Nick Patrick reversed the decision. Sting took it out and nailed Tommy Young. So the NWA suspended Sting for 30 days. That suspension ends in about a week and a half. So Sting will pay very close attention to the winner of this contest, as I'm sure he will be in line for a future U.S. title match. And there he is, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, one of the hottest wrestlers here in the National Wrestling Alliance. He debuted back in May. He was dressed as RoboCop and became an immediate member of the Four Horsemen. He defeated Lex Luger for that U.S. heavyweight title and once an opportunity at the Total Package. Of course, his fellow Horseman member Arn Anderson will get an opportunity later on tonight in our main event. So Paul Orndorff, a fighting and defending U.S. heavyweight champion. He has taken on many challenges, but he will be in for quite a match here tonight against Brian Pillman, as Pillman is probably the quickest and the highest flyer of anyone that Mr. Wonderful has faced. And the fans here in Charleston, South Carolina, giving their support for Flyin Brian Pillman. I don't think Mr. Wonderful will have the same reaction. And I was wrong. The fans here in South Carolina rooting for Mr. Wonderful, it looks like. And that is what it's all about, the U.S. heavyweight title, and the referee calls for the bell. And the referee is Nick Patrick, so a little apropos that Sting is at ringside. Orndorff in the ring, and Nick Patrick is the referee. A reversal by Pillman and working the arm of Mr. Wonderful. And a break. And now Pillman with a front face lock on Mr. Wonderful. Orndorff up and over the top rope. Pillman with a big right hand knocks Orndorff to the mat. And Pillman climbing the top rope. Will Pillman fly in the early going of this contest? He's lining up. Mr. Wonderful back to his feet. And Orndorff back in the ring, but Pillman nails him with a chop anyway. Goes for the cover. The U.S. champion won, and a kick out of one by Orndorff. Pillman going to that top rope while Orndorff was on the outside floor. And that's a good 15 feet high in the air, and Pillman would have came landing down on Orndorff. Orndorff slid back into the ring, thinking he escaped the maneuver, and Pillman caught him anyway. And now Orndorff going to work. Pillman in trouble. Off the ropes. Pillman up and over Orndorff. Up and over Orndorff again. A third time. And Pillman with a spinning leg kick takes Orndorff down. An elbow drop. And Orndorff is in trouble. Pillman getting the momentum here in the early going of this contest. A forearm to the back. Turns Orndorff over in a crucifix. Has Orndorff pinned 1, 2, and no! Orndorff gets out. Oh, that would have been a quick upset there for Brian Pillman. Into the ropes goes Orndorff, and a beautiful drop kick. Nails him right in the kisser. Goes for the cover. Referee counts 1 and a kick out at 1 by Orndorff. Oh, and Orndorff using his strength takes Pillman down to the mat. And a knee to the head. And Pillman now in trouble. Pillman has had quite a year himself. He has battled back from some injuries, nagging injuries. Of course, he had that major neck issue in February. He was out for 2 months. It came back stronger than ever, but had to start from the bottom in contendership. He was very close. He was a top contender to the World Television and the U.S. Heavyweight title, but when he missed 2 months, the competition gets better. As Orndorff setting up Pillman, could it be? He's setting up for the pile driver, but Pillman moves out of the way, evades the pile driver, inside cradle, has Orndorff pinned 1, and a kick out at 1 by Orndorff. Pillman now climbing the top rope. What's he have in mind again? He leaps and nails Orndorff for the forearm. He's climbing back up top. Pillman seems at home on that top turnbuckle. He's waiting for Orndorff. Could it be the crossbody? He leaps. He nails Orndorff. He goes for the cover. And we're going to have a new U.S. champion. 1, 2, and no. Orndorff kicks out. And Pillman questioning the speed of the count with the official, but staying on top of Orndorff, and again, climbing the top rope. Pillman has Orndorff lined up. Oh, but Orndorff, with his knees up, blocks the splash off the top rope. And now Orndorff in control. Throws Pillman into the corner and stomping away. And now Orndorff picks up Pillman and drops him across the knee for a backbreaker. He's not done yet. Picks up Pillman in a second backbreaker, and Pillman is hurt. Orndorff going for the cover. Will he retain 1? And a kick out at 1 by Pillman. Orndorff nonchalantly going back to work on Brian Pillman. And now has Pillman locked up. A Pillman trying to get out of that crossbow. And an elbow to the midsection breaks a maneuver. Clothesline takes Orndorff down. Pillman back in control with an elbow drop. And Orndorff clutching his nose. Pillman with another elbow drop. Picks up Orndorff. Into the ropes goes Mr. Wonderful. Off the ropes. Oh, a stalemate. And now Orndorff picks up Pillman. And a gut run suplex. Up and over goes Pillman. Orndorff back in control. Back and forth contest here for the U.S. Heavyweight Championship. And now Mr. Wonderful has Pillman spinning him around. And what brute strength on the part of Mr. Wonderful. And that has to be it. Goes for the cover. 1, 2, no, a kick out by Pillman. And the fans are chanting, this is awesome. A back and forth contest here at Clash of the Champions Fall Brawl. We thank you for tuning in, and we are honored to have you part of this broadcast as Orndorff drops a knee across the forehead of Pillman. Of course, our main event is still to come. Arn Anderson challenges the total package for the NWA World Title, but Orndorff here in control, and Pillman fighting back with an uppercut. Throws Orndorff. Up and over the top rope goes Mr. Wonderful to the floor, and Sting having words, shouting encouragement to Pillman. Pillman chases Orndorff out. He knows he can't win the title on the countout. Pillman now with a big right hand to Mr. Wonderful. Picks up Orndorff. Pillman charges but misses with a crossbody. Orndorff now picks up Pillman. Owen slams Pillman into the side of the ring. Oh, that misjudgment by Pillman could cost him. He lined up Orndorff for a crossbody on the floor and misjudged the distance. And now Orndorff back in control. Throws Pillman. Oh, and an elbow to the side of the head. And Mr. Wonderful in complete control now. Picks up Pillman. Could he be setting him up? He has Pillman up for a scoop slam, it looks like. Runs and power slams down to the mat. Will the pile driver be coming up next? Orndorff trying to recover. Going for the cover. Will he retain? 1, 2, and no! A kick out by Pillman. And Orndorff can't believe it. Orndorff setting up Pillman. Could it be a pile driver? And Orndorff helps Pillman up. Not the way that Pillman wanted to come up. And Orndorff ramming Pillman's head into the wall, but a block by Pillman. And Pillman rams Orndorff's head into the top turnbuckle. Pillman now off the ropes, and Owen misses with a drop kick. He misses with a drop kick. Orndorff has Pillman up for a pile driver and spikes him down. Mr. Wonderful spikes Pillman with a pile driver when Pillman missed a drop kick. Orndorff goes for the cover. 1, 2, and 3. And Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff retains the U.S. Heavyweight Championship here at Clash of the Champions Fall Brawl. What a back and forth contest this was. I thought Pillman had an opportunity when he hit the crossbody up the top rope, but the momentum took Pillman off of that maneuver. And when he went for the cover, it was just enough time for Orndorff to kick out. But it was that devastating pile driver maneuver by Mr. Wonderful that put Brian Pillman away. And I believe that somewhere down the road, there will be a future date with Sting for the U.S. Heavyweight title. But your winner and still United States Heavyweight Champion, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. Fans, don't go away. The main event is next. The NWA World Heavyweight title on the line as the total package Lex Luger defends against the enforcer Arn Anderson. We'll be right back after this quick timeout. And welcome back to our main event here at Clash of the Champions Fall Brawl. The following contest will be for the NWA World Heavyweight title as that man. The enforcer AA Arn Anderson takes on the total package Lex Luger. And Arn Anderson, a member of the Four Horsemen, a group that used to be very tight, is seemingly coming apart at the seams as Nature Boy Ric Flair, let's put it quite frankly, he's fallen off the deep end here, folks. And that loss earlier tonight to the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, did him no favors. So Arn Anderson getting his opportunity as he was moving up the ranks in championship contention. And of course, the U.S. Heavyweight Champion, Mr. Wonderful, who also retained tonight. will be interested in the winner of this contest as the World Heavyweight Champion makes his way to the ring. And that's the total package, Lex Luger. And the fans here in Charleston, South Carolina rise to their feet for the total package. Lex Luger has taken on any and all competitors since winning the world title back in July. In fact, he has been a very fighting champion. He has defended that title almost every night since winning it. And Arn Anderson looking to take advantage of a worn package here as Luger flexes to the masses here in South Carolina. We thank you again for tuning in to the Clash of the Champions, a great night of wrestling so far. We have, of course, new NWA World Television Tag Team Champions in Doom. But every other title on the line has been retained, and Lex Luger will look to do the same here tonight against AA. And the introductions being made, of course, that is the total package. Lex Luger, the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. He resides from Chicago, Illinois. And that is what it's all about, the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. A title that until recently was only really held by Ric Flair of the Horsemen. It was almost sacrilegious to be a member of the Horsemen and go after the world title. But Arn Anderson's getting his opportunity tonight. And of course, Mr. Wonderful waiting in the wings as the U.S. Heavyweight Champion and the #1 contender. As this match is spilled out to the floor already, Anderson with a kick to the midsection. And a high knee lift takes the total package down. Fighting on the outside as Luger throws Anderson back into the ring. Of course, fans all over the NWA are wondering who the total package will defend the title against next. If he gets through Arn Anderson, like I said, Mr. Wonderful in line. Tully Blanchard has made claim to want a world title match. But fans want to see the friend of the total package, that's Sting, get a title opportunity. So Halloween Havoc, as Arn Anderson goes for the cover. We have a new champion won, and it can get it won by Lex Luger. Halloween Havoc is our next big event here in the NWA. That's on October 21st. And of course, this match needs to be completed before we know who the world champion will be. But matches are being signed in the locker room tonight. We know that the World Tag Team Championship will be on the line when the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, defend the NWA World Tag Team Championship against Rick and Scott, the Steiner Brothers. That match has been confirmed. It has been signed for Halloween Havoc. As Anderson with a knee in the corner and Lex Luger in trouble in the early going of this contest. Anderson goes for the cover. 1, 2, and a kick out of 2 by Lex Luger. Anderson wisely staying on top of the total package and a big chop. But Luger fires back with a chop of his own, a big right hand. And Luger now throws Anderson into the turnbuckle. Luger charges and nails him with a clothesline. And now Luger back in control. And a takedown by Luger. And the fans here showing their support. It looks like they're showing their support for Arn Anderson. This is what they call Horseman Country. So perhaps the fans want to see Arn Anderson win the world title. They are booing Luger when he's on the offense. And Anderson catches a knee. And now a chop. And another chop takes Luger down. Anderson back in control. Goes for the cover. 1. And a kick out at 1 by Luger. A knee to the back. Anderson working that body part, the lower back in this match. Of course, he can set him up for that spine buster. And by working that lower back, he could just be doing that as Luger dumps Anderson over the top rope, follows him out to the floor, and Luger has Anderson and rams him face first into the corner of the ring. The edge of the ring is one of the harder parts of the ring, folks. If your head gets bounced off of that, there's not much give. And Anderson fighting back from an arm lock on the outside floor. The referee's counting. And a count out would only benefit Luger in this situation as Arn throws Luger into the steel steps. And now Anderson going to work on the shoulder, it looks like. Picks up Luger. And throws him again into the steel steps. Anderson breaks up the count and goes back outside, but the damage is done to the total package in the clothesline. From behind, takes Luger down. Will this be Arn Anderson's chance to win the world title again? Anderson goes, or Luger goes shoulder first into the steel steps, courtesy of Arn Anderson. Anderson in complete control, picks up Luger and throws him again into the guardrail. And Luger is in trouble. Anderson's picking apart all these body parts and nailing them with different maneuvers such as chops, knees to the back, and throwing Luger into the steel steps on multiple occasions, and Arn Anderson says that's it. But he has to pin the big man in the ring to win the title. Charges Luger. And stomping away on the midsection, Arn Anderson in control. Will we have a new World Heavyweight Champion here? Throws Luger hard into the ring post. And now face first into the ring post goes Luger. And Arn Anderson in complete control. He feels it here. He feels that world title coming to him as he goes back into the ring. The count's up to 7. Anderson needs to break the count or he won't win the title. 8. Oh, and Luger makes it back in. Anderson catches him. 1, 2, and a kick out by Luger. Luger made it back into the ring by 9, was greeted with a big chop by Anderson and almost got the title. Arn throws Luger hard across the ring. Another chop takes Luger down and another chop. Luger is in trouble. Will the NWA title slip away from the total package's hands? Anderson picks up Luger and there it is! A spine buster! New champion crowned! Anderson goes for the cover! 1, 2, and now a kick out by Luger! Lex Luger kicks out at the last second. Anderson staying on top. Oh, but kick blocked. Luger picks up Anderson and slams him down to the mat. Oh, and Anderson's head bounced off the mat. Luger setting up Anderson with a knee in the corner, driving his knee into the head of Arn Anderson. Luger now with a headlock trying to wear down the Enforcer. Meanwhile, the Enforcer reverses it. Headlock by Anderson. Luger with a big right hand picks up Arn, and there it is, the torture rack. Anderson in the torture rack has nowhere to go. He's in the middle of the ring. Will Anderson submit? Luger has it locked in. Will he retain? Anderson tried to position his body and escape the maneuver. Anderson. I think Anderson's going to escape. No, wait, no, he has nowhere to go. He has to tap out. Anderson was positioning his body to escape and could not swing it. And Anderson had nowhere to go and was forced to tap out. Your winner and still World Heavyweight Champion, the total package, Lex Luger. Here are some highlights from earlier in the contest. And Anderson, he had a lot of offense. And Arn Anderson, I thought on many occasions, was going to win the title. He threw Lex Luger into the steel stairs on multiple occasions, wearing down the package. But once Luger locked in the torture rack, Anderson had nowhere to go. Even though it looked like Anderson was trying to position his way out of the maneuver, he had nowhere to go. And I thought the match was over right there with that big chop. But Luger kicked out at the last second. And there's a spine buster. I thought that was over too. And Luger kicked out at 2 3/4. Fans, we thank you for tuning in to Clash of the Champions Fall Brawl. Our next big event here in the NWA will be Halloween Havoc in late October. For all of us here in the National Wrestling Alliance and WWE 2K19, we thank you for tuning in. We'll see you at the matches. Goodbye, everybody. What the what?